There was no medicine. There was nothing was going to work, but there was a space-age something, a medicine that they were going to use and that they did use. And it saved, anyway, it saved millions of lives, all these different things that they're developing. And in some cases it doesn't work, but in many cases it does. I would say in many more cases it does. So, Mike, we saved thousands and thousands of lives. And again, I hope nobody in this room needs it, but it's awfully good. It's awfully good. At least it gives you a hell of a shot, and it turned out to be really amazing. So I'd like to ask Mike to now take over and go around the room. I'd love to hear from Ed and Ted and everybody, and we'll see how we're doing, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. President, you certainly just gave us a good reason to be happy about next Tuesday. You reminded us why you've been fighting for the people. And every one of these folks who are here at the table are here because they live in this area. They all come from different perspectives, but they have a unique understanding of what's needed in this country and why we need you to be back in the White House. And I'm going to start with Donald Clark. He's a retired police lieutenant. He served 32 years, and he did a variety of roles from patrol officer, field training officer, K-9 officer, was on the SWAT team. I think it's interesting, Donald, you were in the police business 32 years. You've been married 36. You might tell us which was the hardest of those two careers, but I want you to speak specifically.
Don't do it. You can get yourself in trouble. He wanted to be cute. I've done that. Don't do it. Say, I love my wife very much.
The police was...
You'll be careful on this.
Good answer.
But speak to the issue of crime. Would you go back into police work today knowing the kind of challenges police officers face that maybe weren't faced then? And then as a retiree, how difficult it is to live on retirement income given the economy that we currently have?
I'll be totally honest, I would not want to go back and work on the street again. I spoke with a lot of my colleagues, and the biggest thing that is really challenging now is it's burnout, the inability of retention and recruitment of the officers that we need due to the lack of respect and hatred towards the law enforcement prevalent in our big cities today. Coupled with that is the lack of support from administration, budget cuts, and the lenient and soft on crime policies of the district attorney's office in those cities. In turn, a trickle-down effect into the surrounding communities comes down from this. And just because Philadelphia has it, now all of a sudden Upper Darby has the same issues. And then with this, it's forcing law enforcement to do more with less. And the one thing I always told my officers when I was on in roll call was, everybody showed up to work tonight, everybody goes home tonight. And what we need is to be back to law and order.
Yep. Right. Thank
you. Now that I'm retired, and I retired in 2020, and I do have a good pension, but it is a fixed income. My wife, who is a registered nurse, Lori, she retired in 2022. But with the unstable economy, the high cost of living, high inflation, we were not comfortable with what we had put away for our savings for retirement. So Lori took another job, and actually she just retired last week. But we were not comfortable with what we had in our savings, and we weren't sure how far it was going to go. And if less things changes with this economy right now, I don't know if I'm going to have enough when I do, if I'm going to live that long. So
it's terrible. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Dr. Maribel Valdez was born in Puerto Rico and came to the United States. Came to the United States when she was 17. and got her doctorate in occupational therapy. She spent nearly 40 years as an occupational therapist, working primarily with the elderly in nursing homes, rehabilitation centers, and home health. In private practice, she was a Medicare and Medicaid provider for occupational therapy services. So Maribel, you have had a lot of experience working with Medicare, both as a provider and now as a customer. Would you mind speaking to your experience working with the 1-800 Medicare hotline?
Mr. President, I just wanted to tell you that I moved here in 1981 from Puerto Rico, and I want you to know that Puerto Rico stands behind you, and Puerto Rico loves you.
Well, we love it. I know it very well, and we helped you through a lot of bad storms, I'll tell you. We had some really bad ones. You remember you were there when I brought the hospital ship against everyone's advice, and we got it in there and took care of a lot of people. But I think no president's done more for Puerto Rico than I have. So thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
My experience with the 1-800 Medicare line has actually been very positive. As a customer, I was pleasantly surprised. The wait time is really no longer than about 10 minutes. The automated system tells you how long you're going to wait, and if you do not want to wait, they will call you back. You could leave your message and they will call you back, and they call you back promptly. It also tells you when the height of calls is at, so you want to call on a different day when they don't have that many calls, you could call on that day. The information has always been very helpful. It has been my experience. They share a lot of resources with me. They take their time. They even go through the website and say, let's go to Medicare.gov and let me show you which page